All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something really powerful, the art of conscious growth. What does that even mean? Well, it's all about you grabbing the steering wheel of your own life, getting off autopilot and consciously, intentionally deciding who you want to be.
Okay, so I'm going to start with something that might sound a little weird. Do not be authentic. I know. Every self-help book, every influencer tells us to just be authentic. But what if that's actually bad advice? What if the you that feels so authentic right now is really just a product of old programming? And what if it's not who you're meant to be?
So here's what we're getting at. That authentic self is what we can call the programmed self. Think about it. It's just a pileup of all the choices you've made in the past, based on situations that, well, they might not exist anymore. Look, that programming was super useful, for sure. It got you to this exact moment. But the thing is, it's not equipped to take you where you really want to go next.
And that brings us to our first big idea here, stepping beyond that default setting. It's about making a real, conscious choice to evolve.
Okay, let's really break this down. You've got two versions of you playing out. On one hand, there's the programmed self. It's on autopilot, right? It feels familiar, it feels comfortable, it's easy. But on the other hand, you have the aspirational self. This is the you that's built on purpose, on conscious choices, looking toward the future you actually want. And here's the kicker, the part we all get stuck on. Moving toward that aspirational self is going to feel weird. It's going to feel unfamiliar, maybe even fake or inauthentic at first. And that's the whole point. It feels that way because you're literally carving a new path instead of walking the old, comfortable.
So, how do we actually start building this new version of ourselves? Well, it all starts inside. It begins by taking ownership of your own inner world.
And look, you don't have to meditate on a mountaintop for a year. It's not about some massive life overhaul. Just own your next minute. That's it. It can be so simple. Forget about the rest of the day, forget about tomorrow, for just 60 seconds. How about you just breathe? Breathe in some energy, breathe out all that weight you're carrying, or maybe just slowly sip your coffee, or stretch that one knot in your shoulder that's been screaming at you all day. These are like little microdoses of intention, and they can totally change your entire state of being.
Okay, let's take this a step deeper. When you do take that pause, what are you actually hearing in there? You know all those different voices in your head, the ones that are constantly pulling you in different directions? What if you could actually tell them apart?
Yep. Think of it like you've got this mind's council sitting around a table in your head. First, you've got the ego. It's always worried, asking, am I safe? What do I want? What do I need? Then you've got the thinker, the logical one, laying out all the options, making pros and cons lists. Then there's the witness, which is just kind of sitting back, observing everything without judging. And finally, there's presence. That's the part that's just here. Nothing else needed. The big takeaway is this: you are not any single one of these voices. You're the one chairing the meeting. You're the manager. And when you know which voice is talking the loudest, you get to choose how to respond instead of just mindlessly reacting.
And of course, we can't talk about our inner world without talking about emotions, especially the big, scary ones. We tend to treat feelings like anger or fear as problems we need to solve, right? But what if they're not? They're not a life sentence. They're just signals, like a blinking light on your dashboard, just letting you know that something you really care about is in the mix. So here's a super practical way to deal with those signals when they pop up. It's a simple 3-step process. First, just name it. Say it out loud even. Okay, hello frustration, I see ya. Second, appreciate it. And no, I don't mean you have to like it. Appreciate it for the job it's doing. It's trying to protect something you value. Like, I'm frustrated because this project, this relationship, this thing, it really matters to me. And then, the hardest part, third, just stay. Don't try to fix it. Don't act on it immediately. Just sit with it for a second. That little bit of space, that's where your power is. That's where you get to choose what happens next.
Now, once you start getting a handle on your inner world, something amazing happens. You get way better at shaping your outer world. And this is so important for anyone who's trying to lead. Whether you're leading a company, a team, your family, or, hey, just leading your own life through all the craziness out there.
And to really get a grip on the challenges of today, it actually helps to look back for a second. The whole idea of work has been completely turned upside down, over and over again, by these big industrial revolutions. And each one didn't just change our jobs, it changed our entire lives.
For the longest time, people at work were basically seen as parts in a machine. You know, interchangeable, disposable. Then things started to shift. We started seeing humans as assets, as the real key to getting ahead. But now, with AI and algorithms managing so much, you have to wonder, are we in danger of sliding right back to where we started, just prioritizing raw output and forgetting about the people doing the work?
A massive part of leading well in this new world is just knowing what kind of problem you're up against. See, some problems are complicated. Think of building a skyscraper. Yeah, it has a million parts, but it follows a plan. It's predictable. You just need the right expert, the right blueprint. But then there are complex problems. Think about raising a child. There is no blueprint for that. It's dynamic, it's unpredictable, and it requires a ton of patience and adapting on the fly. And honestly, we burn ourselves out all the time by trying to use a skyscraper blueprint to raise a kid, metaphorically speaking.
So when things get uncertain and stressful, what's our go-to response? We all know fight or flight, right? Attack or run away. But there's actually a third primal response that we totally forget about, and it's maybe the most powerful one: friend. It's that instinct to reach out, to connect with people, to build alliances. In the messy, complex world we live in now, choosing connection over conflict, that's where real strength and resilience comes from.
Okay, let's start to pull all of these threads together. Because what we're talking about here, it's bigger than just being more productive at work or a better leader. It's really a whole philosophy for how to live a richer, fuller, more meaningful life. So many of us spend our lives chasing these one-sided goals, right? We want only happiness, only success, only strength. We act like these things exist all by themselves. But life just doesn't work that way. It's not a simple choice between sunshine or rain. It's more like a dance between all these opposites. And the real beauty, the real richness of life is found in that dance.
I mean, this is really the heart of it all. You can't have success without the possibility of failure. You don't get order without a little bit of chaos. You don't know your own strength until you've faced your weakness. A truly fulfilling life isn't about trying to get rid of the bad stuff. It's about getting better at navigating the space between all of it. That's where all the good stuff, all the depth really is.
And this leads to a really important way to rethink what growth even means. We usually think of it as adding things, right? Add a new skill, add another goal, add more to the to-do list. But real meaningful growth also requires subtraction. It's about having the courage to tear down the things that just aren't working anymore, those old habits, those limiting beliefs, so you can clear out some space for something new and better to grow.
Which brings us to a pretty mind-blowing and fundamental truth. You're already growing. Right now, you can't stop it. It is the absolute default setting for all life. Think about it. Every single thing is growing all the time. The only choice is how. You can grow bitter, or you can grow grateful. You can grow more closed off, or you can grow more open. The fact that you are growing is never, ever in question.
And that's where we'll leave it, with this final thought. The question you should be asking yourself is never if you're growing. The real question is, into what? And maybe even more important, by whose design? Is your life being shaped by that old, outdated programming, or is it being shaped by you, by your own conscious, intentional choice? That, right there, is the art of conscious growth.